Hi, my name is Dan Corbett, and I'm the managing partner of BlackIron Group. BlackIron is a Salesforce.com certified partner, and today I'm here to show you a couple of things that you can do inside of a tool you already own. One of them comes included with your subscription, that's quoting, and another is one that's available for a fee off the App Exchange, and that's Quickbooks integration. Let's jump right in. Quick shameless plug, BlackIron has been in business for 14 years. We helped our 1400th client go live this year. To date, we've done over 2,000 projects for various clients in a variety of capacities. There are 21 of us up and down the East Coast, but we're headquartered here in Norwalk, Connecticut, roughly an hour outside of New York. We focus on our customer success. I've got a dedicated resource who exclusively works with clients to make sure that they're happy and works through some of the kind of tips and tricks as a client goes live. So we'd love to hear from you if you're interested in jumping into the Salesforce ecosystem and kind of doing some different stuff. Let's jump into quoting real quick. Quoting in Salesforce is really easy, and it's included with your professional edition or enterprise edition subscription costs. It works off of opportunities and opportunity line items. It's easy enough to set up. If you're not using products, it's also easy enough to set those up. You can build multiple quote templates for different product types or project types, and you can send quotes directly through Salesforce via email to your customers, and then track the opens and kind of the response on that email. Like everything else in Salesforce, quotes are reportable, and those quotes are dashboardable. So let's take a look. Okay, so on my screen, you'll see my instance of Salesforce, the BlackIron edition. And I've created a test company, creatively called Test Company. In the interest of time, I also created an opportunity, and if I click on that, I'll show you what our opportunities look like. You'll notice in here that I've got services. Now, services are basically products renamed, but this is essentially a list of line items that associate to that opportunity. And that will in turn end up being invoice line items over in QuickBooks when we get to that. But for right now, this is going to turn into the quote for us. As I roll down on my opportunity, you'll see I have a variety of related lists, one of which is quote. And if I click on new quote, it brings up this subscreen. Now, I've got two fields that I have to fill out here. You don't have to have any if you don't want to, but I've got 5222 as my, well, give me one more, for my quote name, and I need to get an expiration date. Again, you don't have to fill out any of this, but you'll notice that the system automatically created my test company and gave me my address. And when I save this, it creates a quote for me inside of the system. When I click on this quote, you'll see the line items that I built on that opportunity are automatically brought along for the quote. Now, I've got a couple of choices here once I've got that quote. I can have multiple versions of that quote, so I could have version 1, version 2, version 3, as customers kind of come back and forth with you and work with you. And once I've got that built, I can email that quote directly to the customer. I can synchronize that to the opportunity so that pipeline reporting kind of exists inside of the opportunity. I can have many quotes, like I said, but only one of those quotes is going to synchronize the opportunity so pipeline reporting is accurate, or I can simply create that PDF. And if I click on this button, I have a choice of a couple of different templates. I'm going to choose template 2. And when I create that PDF, it draws the PDF inside of Salesforce. I've built a fairly simplistic version here where I've got my logo in the corner and my address and the basic items that are kind of shown here. I've also built some static terms and conditions in this. You can see the test company listed here and a signature block. Again, this can get as sophisticated as you want to within reason. I can build out this block of items. I can add different fields from my opportunity and quote, and I can build out different static terms and conditions on that quote and then put it together. At this point, I can save and email it to my customer, or I can save the quote directly to Salesforce. And once I've got that, then I can start to track how those emails are being read, when they're being read, and how often they've been read. Quoting is a really simple tool built into your subscription costs already that you could take advantage of today, and it sets up really quickly and really easily. Okay, so the second thing I wanted to show you today was QuickBooks integration. And while this isn't included in your subscription costs, it is available off the App Exchange. It's kind of Salesforce's app store for Salesforce customers. For $2,400 a year, you can download the DB Sync tool from Avankia. It's the tool actually that BlackIron uses to synchronize QuickBooks and Salesforce, and I'm going to show you that here in a second. Out of the box, when this tool is installed, it will move accounts and opportunities as invoices and invoice line items to QuickBooks, and will also move completed items, completed invoices and products back to Salesforce from QuickBooks. This flow chart gives you a feel for how that works. So in my example, and these data events are configurable, but in my system, when I closed won an opportunity in Salesforce, it will create the account if it doesn't exist. It will update the account if it does. And it will create an invoice inside of QuickBooks for me. It will create a QuickBooks invoice for me inside of QuickBooks, right? It can also, as those invoices get updated, send back those answers into QuickBooks. So, you know, as the balance is paid or as a payment is made on an invoice, that information can then also be reflected right back into Salesforce. So you've got this closed loop where Salesforce data doesn't have to be duplicate entered into QuickBooks, and the data from QuickBooks finds its way into Salesforce for reporting. Let's take a look at how that works. Okay, in Salesforce, I've got the opportunity that we were working with on the quote, and if I closed won, not really a verb, but if I closed won this opportunity, that's enough for my version of the QuickBooks integration to send that record over to QuickBooks for me. Now, I've got this job running twice a day. I want to show it to you right now. So on a screen that you don't see right now, I'm going to go ahead and kick this job off, and then we're going to go look in QuickBooks. Okay, so here's my instance of QuickBooks. I use QuickBooks Online, and if I search for test company, it created the test company for me. And if I click into that, yep, it created an invoice. Now you'll recognize the amount, the 5070, from the invoice amount over on the opportunity. It basically built out a new account for me, test company, and it built out a new invoice for me, invoice 8295. All right, let's go back to Salesforce. Let's go back to Salesforce and see it. Okay, right back in Salesforce, and I've got my opportunity. And if I roll down on this page, it created a project for me. You can see my quote, and it also created a receivable. So essentially, that round trip loop from Salesforce to QuickBooks and back created this invoice in Salesforce. And now I can use this data as payments obviously get updated. I can start to see that. As the balance gets updated, I can start to see that. This tool from DB Sync works predictably, reliably in the background for you, and basically does that synchronization for you every time. All right, so what's next? We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to help you kind of get either one of these tools up and running in Salesforce. You can reach out to us at info@blackiron.group.com or by calling us at 203-604-6765. You can also reach out to your account executive. I'm sure they'd love to hear from you. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it, and good luck.